pleasure. Let's hear what you think of her as a man of the world. Pray, Sydney, do. What do you feel for her in your heart of hearts? Yes, Sydney, what do you feel for me in your heart of hearts? The baggage beamed with heartless sweetness. She was making a mock of me. Her father turned as if he would have rent her. Don't you speak until you're spoken to. Atherton, I hope I'm not deceived in you. I hope you're the man I took you for. That you're willing and ready to play the part of an honest friend to this misguided simpleton. That this is not the time for mincing words. It's the time for candid speech. Tell this weak-minded young woman right out whether this man Lessingham is or is not a damned scoundrel. Papa, do you really think that Sydney's opinion or your opinion is likely to alter facts? Do you hear, Atherton? Tell this wretched girl the truth. My dear Mr. Linden, I have already told you that I know nothing either for or against Mr. Lessingham, except what is known to all the world. Exactly, and all the world knows him to be a miserable adventurer who is scheming to entrap my daughter. I am bound to say, since you press me, that your language appears to be unnecessarily strong. Atherton, I am ashamed of you. You see, Sydney, even Papa is ashamed of you. Now you are outside the pale. My dear Papa, if you will allow me to speak, I will tell you what I know to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That Mr. Lessingham is a man with great gifts goes without saying. Permit me, Papa. He is a man of genius. He is a man of honor. He is a man of the loftiest ambitions, of the highest aims. He has dedicated his whole life to the improvement of the conditions amidst which the less fortunate of his fellow countrymen are at present compelled to exist. That seems to me to be an object well worth having. He has asked me to share his life work, and I have told him that I will, when and where and how he wants me to, and I will. I do not suppose his life has been free from peccadilloes. I have no delusion on that point. What man's life has? Who among men can claim to be without sin? Even the members of our highest families sometimes hide behind screens. But I know that he is, at least, as good a man as ever I met. I am persuaded that I shall never meet a better, and I thank God that I have found favour in his eyes. Good-bye, Sydney. I suppose I shall see you again, Papa. With the merest inclination of her head to both of us, she straightway left the room. Linden would have stopped her. "Stay, you—" he stuttered, but I caught him by the arm. "If you will be advised by me, you will let her go. No good purpose will be served by a multiplication of words. Atherton, I'm disappointed in you. You haven't behaved as I expected. I haven't received from you the assistance which I looked for." "My dear Linden, it seems to me that your method of diverting the young lady from the path which she has set herself to tread is calculated to send her furiously along it." Confound the woman! Confound the woman! I don't mind telling you, in confidence, that at times her mother was the devil, and I'll be hanged if her daughter isn't worse. What was the tomfoolery she was talking to you about? Is she mad?" "No, I don't think she's mad. I've never heard such stuff. It made my blood run cold to hear her. What's the matter with the girl?" "Well, you must excuse my saying that I don't fancy you quite understand women." "I don't, and I don't want to, either." I hesitated, then resolved on a taradiddle, in Marjorie's interest. Marjorie is high-strung, extremely sensitive. Her imagination is quickly aflame. Perhaps last night you drove her as far as was safe. You heard for yourself how, in consequence, she suffered. You don't want people to say you have driven her into a lunatic asylum." Good heavens, no. I'll send for the doctor directly I get home. I'll have the best opinion in town." "You'll do nothing of the kind. You'll only make her worse. What you have to do is be patient with her and let her have peace. As for this affair of Lessingham's, I have a suspicion that it will not be all such plain sailing as she supposes." "What do you mean?" "I mean nothing. I only wish you to understand that until you hear from me again you had better let matters slide. Give the girl her head." "Give the girl her head? Haven't I given the girl her head all her life? He looked at his watch. Why, half the day's gone. He began scurrying towards the front door. I followed at his heels. I've got a committee meeting on at the club, most important. For weeks they've been giving us the worst food you ever tasted in your life. Played havoc with my digestion, and I'm going to tell them if things aren't changed, they'll have to pay my doctor's bills. As for that man Lessingham—" As he spoke, he himself opened the hall door, and there, standing on the step, was that man Lessingham himself. Lindon was a picture. The Apostle was as cool as a cucumber. He held out his hand. "Good morning, Mr. Lindon. What delightful weather we are having." Lindon put his hand behind his back, and behaved as stupidly as he very well could have done. You will understand, Mr. Lessingham, that in future I don't know you, and that I shall decline to recognize you anywhere, and that what I say applies equally to any member of my family." With his hat very much on the back of his head, he went down the steps like an inflated turkey-cock. End of Chapter 21. Recording by Alan Winterowd. Boomcoach.blogspot.com